Capital Drafts back at it with another video. Today we'll be reviewing Garrett Podell's mock draft. There. Garrett Podell's mock draft. 2026 NFL mock draft. Wild predictions in round 1 coming up out of Pro Days. Whoa. Interesting. So he has blessed us with a round 1 mock draft, and we're going to start off with Fernando Mendoza here. This makes the most sense. I mean, it really does. If you like Fernando Mendoza as a prospect, props up to you, because I do too. The reason why Fernando Mendoza is such a good prospect is not only because of his off the charts leadership and clutch factor to him, which you don't really talk about enough. His clutch factor is crazy good. I mean, you've seen in big games after big games. Obviously, like some games were blowouts, like Oregon and Illinois. All those games were like blowouts, and obviously some of the lower tier opponents. But some of the games that that Mendoza played, it was honestly one of the best games I've seen. And like not just from any quarterback this year, just any quarterback in general. Like he just makes clutch shot after clutch shot, and there's a reason why he's going number 1 overall. And that's the whole thing about Mendoza. If you like Mendoza as a prospect, you don't like him for his unrealistic tools sometimes, where it's like, okay, he doesn't have the greatest arm talent in the world. He has slightly above arm talent. His frame is really good. He's like 6'5", 260, I think, so somewhere around that range. I don't know if I don't have it by memory, but I think he's definitely 6'5" for sure. I don't know his weight, but it's around 260, 250. And he is tall. He's really tall. So that's gonna be really useful in the NFL. So he's not gonna get like Kyler Murray height, where he's sometimes trapped behind the O-line if it collapses. But even regardless, this team they need a quarterback. They really do. And I know I'm spending a lot of time talking about this. I mean, this is not really where the draft starts. It's really the pick after is where like I start to really get into the meat potatoes and see where these prospects actually land. This is the most surefire pick in the draft. So with that being said, we're gonna go Arvo Reese to the Jets. That's the next pick. So the thing with Arvo Reese is that I think that he's a really good prospect. Schematically, he fits the Jets the best. People say Ruben Bain has had outside linebacker experience. Agreed. I'm not disputing that. He has had 200 snaps at outside linebacker. Same with David Bailey. He played Stanford, 3-4 defense, outside linebacker. He does have experience. David Bailey, I have my concerns with the strength, his off-the-field ability. I don't think he has gone into any off-the-field ability recently, like the last couple games, but he has had it in the past. Look up NC State David Bailey. Look up ASU cameraman David Bailey. He has a hot head. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm just saying that sometimes there's a short temper. Regardless, I don't like his strength. I don't like his bend. I don't like any of that. With Bain, his short arm length, 30 and a quarter or 30 and a half inch arms. As much as I love Bailey, the production has been amazing. His explosiveness, his bend, all of that shit is amazing. I don't know how much I like him at the Jets, especially with this team really needing a double-headed monster. And that's my best way to describe Arvo Reese. It's a double-headed monster. I said it recently on a couple of my videos. He is a double-headed monster. You can literally play him anywhere, and that's what I want. You can anywhere as in linebacker, like anyone in the front 7. I like that. Like that's what I like. You can draw him into coverage. He has unreal strength, getting to the ball carrier or the passer. That's really good, and his strength just looks like natural. And if you eventually develop that technique paired with his strength, he will be an amazing prospect. Turn into obviously an amazing player. Regardless, with David Bailey here, I definitely see the Jets going David Bailey. I definitely see Bain going here too. I would rather them go Bain if they don't take Reese. I'd rather them go Bailey rather than them go Bain than Bailey. But I don't dislike Bain or Reese here. I think Bailey's a little too high for me, so that's my whole aspect of that. But I don't dislike taking Reese here. The Cardinals take Francis Manoa. This is another pretty simple pick. Keep it simple, stupid. Let's talk about this, okay? Francis Manoa, they need tackle. This team could use a tackle. This is probably the best clear-cut tackle for me in terms of strength. Not so much in the speed category, but in the strength category, he's top notch. That's my whole opinion on him. I think his strength is the best in this class. Maybe beside Vega, I think he's par with Vega. But Vega honestly has a really good strength too. So we'll get there when he gets picked in the first round. Because if he doesn't get picked in the first round, we're gonna have some problems. But yeah, Francis Manoa goes here. I don't dislike it. This is a very simple top 3, but a very useful one and a very decent one. So we're gonna go Francis Manoa here. Makes the most sense. We have David Bailey to the Titans here. Let's scroll down a little bit. We have David Bailey to the Titans here. This is honestly a realistic possibility, and with David Bailey being here is saying that this team is not really invested into Jermaine Johnson long term. I mean, obviously they aren't, but like they've signed veterans, so I wouldn't say an edge is 100% out of play. In my personal opinion, I like Jeremiah Love a little bit more here, but regardless, David Bailey is not a bad option. I just think that I like Ruben Bain more. Production is a little bit better, speed's a little better, all that's a little better. But I don't hate David Bailey here. It's just again the stiffness, the fluidity. Like if you see him compared to some of these other prospects, they just look more fluid than David Bailey. Like even compared to like someone like Albert Reese, obviously, and Bain, but Bain, they're all really fluid in their own right. So that's the biggest issue, but I don't dislike taking David Bailey here. The Giants are going Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. This honestly makes a lot of sense for this team. This team does not have a real wide receiver, too. I mean, honestly, with Slayton, I don't know how comfortable I am. He has had a multitude of drops in the NFL season. He has honestly been very, very bad. And I think it's time for him to move on, and I don't know why the Giants paid him the same amount of money they would have paid Saquon Barkley anyways. So, like, that's the whole notion for that. I just don't like Carnell Tate. I just don't like Steelers thing. So I think Carnell Tate is a good option. It really is. And I would honestly prefer Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles, or Downs. Even Reese if he's available in this scenario. He's not. I would like him way more than someone not named Jeremiah Love. Because again, Jeremiah Love is a good player. He's a top 3 on my big board. It doesn't fit schematically. It really doesn't. And it kind of does fit schematically because running backs aren't very schematically heavy because the running backs are not very schematically heavy. But regardless, they are very important. Like, and I just think that their running backs are already good enough to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm fine with kind of moving on from that and getting a bigger positional need, even though the position, like, usually you would take like the best player available. Like that's what I'm a big believer in. You take the best player available. If you like the guy, take him. So that's why I wouldn't like dislike Bain here, but like I don't know, I just don't like, it doesn't make sense that well. But like Jeremiah Love is good, but Carnell Tate is also really good in his own aspect. He's probably my wide receiver 1 in this class. Like he's already wide receiver 1. Downs is my safety 1. Sonny Styles is clear cut linebacker 1. Like that's the whole thing. So if you like your guy, go get him. If you don't, then oh well. The Browns take Spencer Fano offensive tackle out of Utah. This is 100% a possibility too. This was honestly a very mocked and very like realistic relocation for him before his pro day, where he fell because of his arm length. But I think this team could use another offensive tackle. Like I actually like Fano. He makes a lot of sense. I mean, he has really good speed. His strength is a little bit concerning at sometimes, but like I don't dislike his strength. He's honestly a really good project to take a chance on. It makes sense, and he was one of the best, if not the best, offensive tackle in football last year. So college football last year. So not a bad option. The Commanders take Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. I don't dislike Jeremiah Love here. I prefer Downs. I prefer Delane. I prefer Stops, and that's my whole thing. I like Love a lot. I prefer him at number 4. I prefer him at, honestly, 4 is his best landing spot for me. Honestly, be honest. But at 7, it's not a bad option. Like I don't dislike Love, but like if you want something different, like then maybe you go some area where you think their value is better. But if the Commanders like Love, like I wouldn't dislike it. But they already seem to have the running back room like locked in long term, I guess. So I mean, regardless, it's not a bad option to take Love. Saints take Caleb Down, safety out of Ohio State. This is another Brandon Staley type pick for them. Even with others being gone, like obviously he brings up Alontae Taylor's departure. Yeah, he can definitely be that. And with Brandon Staley eventually working with defensive backs in the past, most notably Derwin James, which I've talked about previously and many weeks ago, saying Brandon Staley has had a history with Derwin James, and I think Caleb Downs can fit that Derwin James role where he's literally so versatile. He's such a big hitter. He's not the most like acrobatic in terms of like, he's not like gonna be like Ed Reed where he catches the ball constantly, but like Caleb Downs is a good prospect. Like I don't dislike him as a prospect. So if you take a chance on Caleb Downs here, He has probably one of the highest floors in the draft class regardless. So I like Caleb Downs here a lot. It makes sense. It's a very good fit for this team. The Chiefs go Sonny Styles, linebacker of Ohio State, especially after losing Leo Chenal. This is definitely a very realistic possibility, and Spagnuolo could like this area of surefire tackling, a bunch of upside as pass coverage with his X safety ability, and it's not a bad option. I think a corner is 100% in play. I wouldn't be upset if they took Delane here, even McCoy, but I think I like Styles more than I do Delane and McCoy. And I've been on the Styles hype train since December, November. So I like Sonny Styles a lot here. He's a real good in between the tacklers. You don't see him miss that many tackles, if not any. He's only missed a handful, a few that I can remember just off the top of my head. But he's a really good player. He really is. So I think you're going to get a stud here. With the Bengals here, they're going to go Jamal McCoy, Tennessee corner. Not a bad option either. Jamal McCoy tested amazing with the pro day. He ran a 4.38 40, 38-inch vertical. I don't even know he ran it. I'm reading this right here. And a 10-foot, 7-inch broad jump. That's crazy. I mean, obviously, he hasn't suited up in pads in over a year, which is a big concern with me. Obviously, tape is my most important benchmark. If your tape is really good, I like you. If not, you're not so good. You can be athletic, but that doesn't mean you're amazing on the football field. Take a look at Genesis Smith. He's the most athletic, but he's not the most technically sound, which is why he's not getting day one buzz. He's a freak athlete. He's a freak athlete, but like there's areas where you're like concerned about, like his pursuit angles are terrible, his path level is terrible, his tackling and his technique is just all terrible. And I'm not saying it's terrible to the point where you can't play football. I'm saying terrible it's enough to the point where in the NFL level it might not fly. That's my whole idea with athleticism. But he looked good, and people were concerned about him keep his speed up. And a 4.38 isn't bad at all. Like it really isn't. He definitely can outrun me. And good thing I'm not an NFL player or future NFL player. But Jamal McCoy is not a bad option. I mean, you need a corner here, and this team has a gigantic need in the defensive back category. Not even corner, just defensive back. So it's not a bad option. I mean, it really isn't. I could definitely see an edge being in play here too with the departure of Trey Hendrickson, but I don't dislike it. Dolphins go Mansour Delaney, corner out of LSU. This makes a lot of sense too. I like Mansour a lot here. Realistically, with Delaney with Bain on the board, I think you can maybe keep Bain in the same city and or I don't know, same stadium actually, because they both play in Hard Rock. But regardless, we take Mansour here. Not a bad option. This team has a big need on corner. Jack Jones is the first corner that's in that depth chart. No. Let's rewind it. Let's get another better pick. I don't dislike it. I feel like the value for Bain is too good to the point where I would pass up on, so I would prefer that, which he goes next. But I don't dislike it. Mansour is honestly a really good player for me. I just like Bain a lot. And speaking of Ruben Bain, he goes here. If the Cowboys find a way to ransack this draft and get Ruben Bain here, prop it up. They won the first day. Regardless, if they can even take fucking CJ Allen at pick 20, then I'd be happy with their job because they took Bain. That's my biggest thing. I love Bain as a prospect. Even with his 30 and 7/8 inches of arms, I think 7/8. I thought it was 3/4 or something. I don't know. I said something earlier, but regardless, 30 inches arms. I don't really care. Be honest. It's different than Cash Howell, whose arm length is sub 30. He is 30, closer to 31. So I like that a lot. So if you take Ruben Bain here, you get real athleticism, you get crazy good bend, you just get a productive college football player that just has short arms. I mean, I'm fine taking a swing on him at 12, especially with how good his production has been. I can definitely see him being a bust because maybe he gets past it, but even against some of these longer arm tackles, because he's not playing against bums, he's not playing in a non-G5 school. He's playing in Miami, one of the best ACC teams, playing against good competition constantly, beat Ohio State, beat Texas A&M, 2 premier SEC and Big Ten programs, and gave Indiana the best team in the country a run for their money. So he was playing against good competition constantly. He was against some of these bigger guys, and he still produced. And his passion and his grit just gets him to gets me to the next level about him as a prospect too. It's like that passion that gets me. It really does. And if you clearly love football, I love you more as a prospect because you seem like you won't be. I feel like there's less bust factor to you because you seem like you actually care about what you're doing. If you're passionate about something, it's something else. And I think Ruben Bain can be just really good, just as in terms of as a player. So I like it a lot. I mean, if the Cowboys let him away to get Ruben Bain, if Ruben Bain falls out the top 10, Jesus, pray for him. I mean, that brother will make you pay. The Rams taking Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. Not a bad option at all. 2025 Biletnikoff winner. He is really, really good. He's tough as nails. He doesn't fear the middle of the field. He's really good in between the hashes. He's really good even outside the hashes. He's just a good prospect. It's just his explosiveness and area of his quote-unquote bombing the combine. I'm not going to take that into account in my draft process, but I'm going to bring that up. He supposedly bombed some of the things in the combine. I don't know how trustable that is, but that's what people have said. I don't think there's been any character concerns at USC, so I don't dislike it. And especially with Puka Nacua being able to really get himself back together, going to rehab, which is very mature of him, and seeing, hey, I have a problem. It's not a bad option. I mean, we love Puka. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. Like, it's just some string of bad decisions, and at least he's man enough to find out that, hey man, maybe it's me. And he took a look in the mirror and was like, it's me. And he's gonna take some time to himself, which is 100% needed. I don't like that the area of this whole age of paparazzi. I'm getting a little crazy, but like this whole age of paparazzi, like you sometimes don't even have any privacy. Like you've seen what he did with Aiden Ross, like that was just the whole thing. I'm sorry, I'm going on a little Puka Nakua tangent, but regardless, I like Makai Lemon here. This makes sense, it really does. So if you take Makai Lemon here, you get again another really high veteran type player. Not veteran, I mean, he's a rookie, but you get a really high player that honestly his similar type archetype works in the NFL. So if you like Makai Lemon here, 5'11", 192 pounds, like he's a little bit smaller. If you like him here, it's not a bad option. I like him a lot as a prospect. The Rams might just want another consistent receiver who hasn't missed much time due to injury, and doesn't seem to mess up that much in the locker room. So if you like him that much, take him. I don't dislike the pick. Ravens go Vega Ione, interior offensive lineman out of Penn State. So realistically, I think Vega Ione does not fit the scheme at all. But like sometimes teams just say fuck the scheme and take the person they like the most, and I think Vega Ione is amazing. Like I really do. I like his strength a lot. His tape is really good. I feel like just watching him, just in general, he has been really good. He doesn't mess up often. He only allowed 15 or 5 pressures. I think it was 5. I think it was 5 pressures. He only allowed 5 pressures this year. That's crazy. And obviously no sacks. Actually, it says right here, he didn't allow a sack in the final 2 college league seasons. Speaking of 27 starts and 776 pass blocking stops, he's the best guard in his class by far. Maybe not the best offensive lineman, best guard. Hands down, best guard. This is honestly a really good pick. I like it. If you take Vega here, you get another high floor type guard, because I think he has one of the highest floors in this draft class. You get another stud strength guy who's going to put you down on the ground. He's going to be a good player. And if you like a real game changer, especially after losing Falele to the Giants, fuck Falele. Falele, you did nothing wrong. You just got paid. Fuck you, Joe Shane. Jesus Christ. But regardless, Ione goes here. I don't dislike it. We're going to go Big Ione here. Bucks go Key Monster edge out of Miami, Florida. This makes sense. It really does. And even though he isn't really young or youthful or very good in terms of his age, he's just a good football player. And I think people need to give him more credit about that. I mean, obviously he's 25. He'll be 25 when the season starts. He'll be 30 when his rookie year is done. So maybe his better days are behind him when his rookie year is done. But honestly, you get a cheap contract, you get instant production, you get a bunch of pressure from the quarterback, which his team really lacked last year. You get a win now type of move, which his team and regime wants. You need just another game changer on the defensive lineman. And obviously, Vita Vea has been good. He's been good. He's not been the best defensive tackle in the world, but regardless, you like it. You like it. So if you take a key Masador here, you get another reliable pass rusher who will have a high floor coming to the NFL, will be very NFL ready, and you also get someone to get to the quarterback, which you really sucked at last year. So I like this more than Keldrick Folk. It really does. I think I like Hakeem Esther more than Keldrick Folk, but not that much to the point where I'm like, oh, Keldrick Folk deserves to go at round number 2. I think that I like Keldrick Folk. I think I prefer Hakeem Esther a little bit more in the edge rushing perspective, but they're two different players, and one is a kind of a build off, and the other is start now and immediately get impact. So that's my whole thing. Jets go Jordan Tyson, wide receiver at ASU. Again, not a bad option. I think Jordan Tyson would be amazing. I don't know how he's ranked 5th in your position ranking. I can't name 2 wide receivers better than him. You can maybe say McCollum, you can maybe say Conate. There's no one else better than him in this draft class. So that's my problem with CBS right now. But Jordan Tyson is really good. Other than the injury history, and maybe they're accounting for injury history in his positional ranking, which I find dumb. But regardless, when he's on the field, he's a stud. He's clearly the best wide receiver in college football that's draft eligible. Jeremiah Smith, Malachi Tony, you're good, bro. Don't worry. And Cam Coleman, I'll give a shout out to Cam Coleman. But Jordan Tyson will be a amazing wide receiver in the NFL if he just stays healthy. His acrobatic, his area of catch point, his routing is all really good. His speed is an elite. His explosiveness is an elite. Kind of similar to Makai Lemon, just a little bit bigger. But I see people like him who have great hands, great catch point, really thrive in the NFL. And it's not a bad option to take Jordan Tyson here next to Adonai Mitchell and Garrett Wilson, and just kind of play with house money with how much capital they have. So if you want to take a shot on an injury-prone wide receiver that's also been really good when on the field, like that's not a bad option for me, especially if they have 3 first-round picks next year from Dallas and Indy. So that's my thing. But yeah, I don't dislike taking Jordan Tyson here. Lions go Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama. I've said this about Caden Proctor. He can be a real stud in the NFL if you just develop him correctly. And Dan Campbell honestly doesn't have the worst track record with offensive tackles and linemen. You've seen what he's done with Penei Sewell. So it's not a bad option to kind of revert to that Penei Sewell type teaching where you kind of hope he gets a little bit better on the technique side. He's really fast. Like honestly, people don't really talk about his like not acceleration, but his downhill speed is actually really good. Like if you get him going, he can like literally ram you down. Like I actually like his whole athletic frame. 2'6'7", 352. Like he's a good player. Like I think he's a good player. I just think his technique needs way more refinement. But like I don't mind taking pick 17 here. I think I like Monroe Feeling a little bit more here. That's my honest opinion. But if you take Kid Proctor here, you get a behemoth, and maybe you can just lock down your long-term tackles long-term. Even if Dan Campbell says, "Oh, we're gonna keep Penei Sewell at left tackle," regardless, it's a good pick. Like I wouldn't knock them for taking a kind of a beast of a offensive tackle and developing correctly. If I can say Dylan Thiemann, safety out of Oregon, I like it. I really do. I don't think he's a poor man's Harrison Smith, as some people like to say. I think he's good. He's really good. He's just overall just a high floor player, instant day one starter for being so young to only a sophomore. Like he's really good. Like I don't know. I like his whole tape. I watched his tape. He grew a lot on me. He really did. Not even on just his tape alone, but obviously the combine, which I don't really take that much into consideration, but like it's something to know how athletic each prospect is. So take Dylan Thiemann here. It's a home run pick. And if he falls here, prop it up because they get their safety of the future. Panthers take Kenan Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. I like this a lot too. I think I like Kenan Sadiq a lot. I don't like him as much as I always say this. I don't like him as much as Brock Bowers. I like him pretty good though. There is problems though. He doesn't have the best blocking profile. He isn't. Sometimes his hands can be inconsistent, which has been fixed along the season. So I'm not really as concerned. But that is a concern that people have. And this honestly, this team needs another weapon for Bryce Young. So. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. I mean, it really does. If you like Kenan Sadiq here and you want another weapon for Bryce Young who's a mismatch, who can line up on the outside and torch you, who can play on the inside and excel past you, like, I wouldn't knock a team for doing it. So that's my whole area. Don't knock a team. I mean, that's not a bad option. Cowboys take Jacob Rodriguez. I almost said Julio Rodriguez, my fantasy baseball GOAT, who's only got negative points for me this year. If you're playing fantasy baseball and you drafted Julio Rodriguez, I'm in the same boat as you. Trust me. But we go with Jacob Rodriguez, the other Rodriguez that's playing better or played better. I like Jacob Rodriguez. I don't know why he's ranked 83rd in your prospect ranking. I have him ranked like top 50. I think he's good. I don't think he's pick 20 good. Like I think there's concerns there. He's an older prospect. He has problems with the pursuit angles. I don't think he's a stellar athlete, but like he's gonna be good. He's a do-it-all. Like he can tackle. He can pick it off. He got Heisman votes. There's no reason he didn't get Heisman votes because he was fucking productive. And like that's what I like about him. I just think this is a little bit too high for someone who isn't really renowned as a stellar athlete and a can't miss prospect. He could be a really good prospect. Like I think he's an above average prospect for me, but I don't know if I like him as much as saying like, oh, we got to do it. But like I'd rather them take Jacob Rodriguez than CJ Allen. That's my personal opinion. I don't like CJ Allen. He looks slow. And all the concerns coming out of college with him being slow, him being really hard to guard some of these smaller backs, looked really apparent in during his pro day when he was really running really slow. So that's my whole opinion. The streets say he's injured. I don't know. Maybe that's just an excuse. I don't know about it. But regardless, he was still slow coming out of the draw process for me on tape. So I think I prefer Rodriguez more here. I don't dislike it, but I think I would like you to trade back into the first round to the point where you would justify reaching when this team honestly has a glaring need at corner, and the corners have only the top two corners have gone so far. So I wouldn't dislike Avion Terrell here, but I'm an Avion Terrell Glazer, so maybe not. The Steelers take Emmanuel Warren, safety out of Toledo. Not a bad option. I think this team could use Emmanuel Warren. He kind of seems similar to Jalen Ramsey. I know this guy just said Jalen Ramsey type mentor. I saw a clip of him with Kay Adams. He was talking about how he's going to run over Derrick Henry and he was going to hit the shit out of Derrick Henry. I respect the hustle, but like it's Derrick Henry. I don't know how I feel about that. But I like Emmanuel Warren. He's a rangy safety. Not as rangy as I once thought, but he is pretty rangy. He can hit you. Not a stellar athlete. Didn't test phenomenally at the combine. Good frame, 6'4", 202. It's tall enough. Like he's a really good player. I think he's probably the tallest out of the top three safeties for me. But like he's good. I just think that his athletic limitations sometimes have him falling for me. But like I don't dislike him here. It makes sense. Chargers go Cowboys edge out of Texas A&M. I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest. This team needs more. I would prefer a more refined rusher, someone who you can build off of a little more. I wouldn't dislike Keldrick Folker, another high floor player who can be really good with the rush, stopping, and is younger, so you can develop him more in the pass rushing too. Versus Cassius Howell, who has really short arms. You've never seen anyone with his arms drafted in the first round, or drafted in day two, let alone the first round. You've never seen anybody with these short arms get picked this highly. So why would that change now? Obviously, like he's a good prospect. Like I don't dislike his area, but like I think he's more of a DPR. Like in my opinion, I think coming out of college he'll be more of a DPR. Like I don't think this team needs a real stud off the edge right now because they do have Khalil Mack. But I would like for you to build that so when Khalil Mack eventually goes, or some of these other guys just go, I would prefer you have another replacement set immediately versus another developmental DPR. That's just my opinion, but like I wouldn't say Kachikawa was a great pick here. Eagles go Modern Feeling offensive tackle out of Georgia. I like this a lot too. I think Modern Feeling will be amazing for what team gets him. He moves so fucking fast for his size. For someone at 315, I don't really see people move that fast, and I like it. If you get him going downhill, he's virtually unstoppable. He will just, it'll feel like a fucking a boulder, Indiana Jones boulder coming down at you, and Indiana Jones trying to run out the way. Like that's how good I think he is. Like with Monroe here, this makes a lot of sense, especially with Johnson, with his injury history, with his problems in the past, with his injury history, and him just his age, just in general, it's just getting bad. So if you take Monroe, again, easy pick, not the worst option in the world. Browns go Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana. This is honestly a really good pick for them. It really is. I think I like Cooper Jr. because he can play anywhere on the field. If you need him to play on the X, you can play on the X. You need him to play on the Y, you can play on the Y. You need him to play in the slot, you can play in the slot. That was very apparent at Indiana. And the reason he was so versatile in Indiana is because he's so hard to bring down too. So if you get him in the slot, get him a quick route or quick just scheme to him, he's gonna be really hard to bring down. Some of his tape I watched, like he will always seem to fall forward. It's kind of like a running back, like that running back tactic, where you always seem to like really elite running backs always have a trait of falling forward or getting like the extra 1 or 2 yards that are really crucial. I think Cooper Jr. is in that area. I don't think he's as good as like the elite running backs, obviously, but like he's gonna be good enough to the point where he can get you an extra yard or two at the end, and that's what I like. He's really hard to get on. He has a great contact balance, has great hands, he's very clutch, has decent amount of route running. He doesn't have amazing speed, he's not the best athlete in the world, but he honestly had a pretty good combine anyways, so I don't think him not being a great athlete is really a knock to him. It's just more like, okay, it's just like he's not a great athlete, but everything else is really solid, so I don't dislike it. I really don't. And there's so much versatility with him, so again, not a bad option. Bears take Caleb Bloom, offensive tackle out of Utah. Another left tackle. I don't know how well I feel about this. If you move him to guard, maybe. I think this team has a lot more needs than offensive tackle. I'm not a big fan of taking offensive tackle, and a bigger need on the edge. Honestly, a bigger need on the edge. I wouldn't dislike taking for the edge. There's Teacher Park available, Keldrick Folk available. There's Zion Young available. There's, I feel like I'm missing one big edge rusher that's still available. I don't know. I think the board has fallen a little bit better, and I think this edge rusher, call me crazy, Derek Moore is available. Like I think I prefer that a little bit more. A real guy who can get to the quarterback, TJ Parker, or even Derek Moore who can get to the quarterback. Like I don't dislike that, but if you take Caleb Bloom here, I guess it's fine. I think they just need more on defense than they do on offense. And I think you can maybe swing on a developmental tackle with, especially a second round pick. You have 2 second round picks. I'd prefer that than taking Caleb Bloom with this high. Bills take Keldrick Folk, edge out of Auburn. Another high flooring player who can be a real like cornerstone to that defense. They just need to develop him more as a pass rusher. I love his run stopping a lot. I think people are being a little too harsh at Keldrick Folk, saying he's not a first round player. He is. It's just like you don't know how well instant impact he'll have. If you want him to get to the quarterback, he's not going to do that immediately. I think he can do that, but I don't think he's going to do that immediately. And with Keldrick Folk here, you have another player who honestly can be a real cornerstone to this piece, because this Joey Bosa was terrible. I know that they did sign Bradley Chubb, but I'm not really committed to him long term because he's an older prospect, and older player, and also just I don't know how well I feel about it. But it would take Keldrick Folk again, another high floor player, really good at the run stopping defense. And he also had 9 sacks, not this season, but the year before this season. Like he's not a bad prospect, like, and especially getting 9 sacks as like a 19 and 20-year-old in the SEC. I mean, like you gotta give credit where credit's due. Like I'm not saying he's like the best prospect in the world, and I think his athleticism has a little bit to play with that. But like if the kid's athletically gifted, let him use it. Like I don't know why we're knocking that, which should actually be a plus. Like saying he's so athletic that he can just get 9 sacks without him actually having the most refined technique in the world. Like that's a better way to phrase it. Like half full instead of half empty. Like that's a better way to phrase it than anything. I think people are being a little too upset with him. Like he's just honestly just a solid, like, I wouldn't say physical specimen because that sounds like very alienated, but like he's a really good player. Like I don't know why people are so upset with him going to some of these teams. I think he's a first round player regardless. So if you disagree with that, argue with the wall. 49ers go Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson. This is not a bad option either. He did have a lot of starts at Clemson. He is very battle tested. He is has very serious laps. So I feel more comfortable taking him in day 2. But if a team is an offensive tackle needed team, I guess, bro. But like I don't know how I feel about taking Blake Miller here. I don't like Blake Miller as much as a prospect as some other people do. I don't think there's much flexibility of him moving into guard either. So you're taking him for a tackle, regardless what side you're taking him for a tackle. But next to Trent Williams, maybe you can refine his technique a little bit more, have less lapses, and be really good in terms of a cornerstone tackle for this team. So I don't dislike it, but me personally, I prefer someone else here. I prefer edge here. Maybe build into that edge room, even with Robert Salaga. Maybe you just develop more. Even wide receivers not 100% out of play. Like this team has been linked to looking to wide receivers as well as I don't know actually. I think a wide receiver or edge is honestly might be a little better for how the board is falling. Or I would rather them take Maxi Nacho next to Trent Williams and just get more upside. That's what I like. And he also, worst case, if he doesn't work out, you move him to guard. That's my whole prowess with Maxi Nacho. His physical ability is kind of like Hayden Proctor. His physical ability is so good that like maybe you just take that instead of the battle tested guy who will be better for a starting immediately type role. But I don't dislike it. Texas takes C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia. If I was an organization, I would not touch C.J. Allen in the first round, mainly because I just don't like his ability. Yes, he's a really good run stopper. Yes, he's really good just sometimes. But like, if we're taking C.J. Allen, like this team, honestly, I would prefer defensive tackle. Peter Woods isn't. I don't think anybody's gone yet. I don't think any defensive tackle has gone yet. Let's search up. DT is not there. And let's just make sure that it's not messed up. Yeah, see, linebacker's there. No defensive tackle is going to be taken in the first round. I think that's fucking blasphemy. I think this team needs a lot more. If you take Peter Woods, you get a stud who has a bunch of upside. Someone who's produced in the past, not like because he hasn't produced in the past and it's like a home run pick, but like he's produced in the past. It's just the numbers have been down because teams have schemed up against him. Whereas someone like C.J. Allen who has looked bad in his pro day, looked bad on tape to me. I feel like there's a lot of lapses sometimes. Yes, he's really good in the run stopping. He's really good in between the tackles, but like passing, like there's multiple parts to being a linebacker, and one half of the parts that he does is not very technically sound. So that's my whole issue with him. But like, even with like the expiring contracts and how deep this linebacker class is, I just don't like it. You have pick 38, you have like pick 50 something, and then you have a third round pick from the Giants, and you have your own third round pick. That makes more sense than taking C.J. Allen here and reach on C.J. Allen when you have a very deep linebacker class. Like, I'd rather them take Aiden Fisher in the third round. I'd rather them take Elam Zorn in the third round. I'd rather them take Jacob Rodriguez is gone in this scenario, but I'd rather them take Josiah Trotter in the second round. Golladay. I'd rather them go Kyle Lewis. I'd rather them go anybody else than C.J. Allen. Maybe you can probably even get C.J. Allen at pick 38. Like, honestly, C.J. Allen's fallen past pick 40 from you at times. In my mock draft yesterday, he went to the Bengals pick. I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. Like, I'm not a big C.J. Allen guy. I'm going to be honest. Chiefs go Colton Hood, corner out of Tennessee. Like, I think I like Colton Hood a lot here. Even with Colton Hood being not a tremendous athlete, he's a really high floor player in my opinion. He doesn't do everything amazingly. Like, he isn't like a generational athlete either. He didn't test amazingly at the combine either. He just tested fine enough to the point where he's back in the first round, late first round. I always had him as a late first round player, like maybe around pick 25, that area. But I don't dislike him as a player. I just wish there was a little bit more on tape sometimes. Like, he's a solid athlete. Like, I don't really have like anything bad to say about him other than the fact that he got torched at the Senior Bowl. But like, he's not a bad player. I don't know how well I feel about it. So it's not a bad option. Dolphins go Casey Conception, wide receiver at Texas A&M. I don't dislike it. I honestly, he's first in position ranking. That's crazy. I'm a big Casey Concepcion glazer. I don't know how much I like him being first in position ranking. But regardless, I fucking love Casey Concepcion. I really do. I feel like the easiest way to describe him, it makes the easy catches look hard. Hard catches look easy. He has a 66% catch percentage. He's 6 foot. Usually, I would expect that for someone like Denzel Boston, who is, I think he's 6'4", 209. With Casey Conception, he is catching 66% of the contested balls, being 6 foot. His leaps is underrated. His whole mismatch and everything, that's the whole prowess. That's the only reason why he's getting, not only, but one of the main reasons why he's getting taken is because you can literally play him anywhere. Punt returner, slot, X, Z. Like, you can play him anywhere. Or X, Y, Z. Like, you can play him anywhere. But I think the team can kind of use him similar to Jalen Waddle, the gadget type of guy. And the guy you like to use in that aspect. So I don't dislike Casey Conception here. I really like him as a prospect. I think, if not, like, worst case floor is like he's kind of like Calvin Austin, where he's not like a premier person, but like he's gonna be good in a good slot system. Like, I wouldn't mind taking a late first round pick on him, regardless. Even with his problems with his hands, like his hands are technique based. One is technique based, and two, it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, sometimes, yeah, he drops some of the easy balls. But, like, if he's catching some of the hard balls, like, the talent's there. It's not like he has crazy bad talent in terms of his hands and bad coordination. He's just, I think he's just a good player. So not a bad option. Pages go Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. Not a bad option either. I think Denzel Boston would be fine. If you make him a wide receiver 1, like in any scheme, I think he will produce. Like with Washington, they were getting the ball out to him early in some of these RPOs, slip screens. Like, but that's what I watched on tape. They were getting the ball out to him a lot, and they're making sure the ball was in his hands. I'm not saying that's a bad like option, but like sometimes when he was the secondary option, or he was running like some of like the filler like backup routes, he wasn't as engaged. Not engaged. I wouldn't say engaged, because I'm pretty sure he's giving forth 100% effort, but he wasn't really getting the ball as much as I was hoping he would, because sometimes if you run a drag, he would get bagged in coverage, and that just looks bad because of his separation. His separation is by far not even close to elite. Like, his separation is my biggest concern with him. Like, if he goes to a team like for example, if he goes to the team like the Rams, you have Nakua and Devontae Adams, and he's more of like a third or second option. Obviously, Nakua would be the top dog there. Like, you don't know how much he will produce, and that's my biggest problem. That's why I like him so much in Miami, is because he's not gonna be like, who is he gonna be competing with? Malik Washington. I'm fine with him. I'm fine with Denzel Boston getting more reps than Malik Washington to do Atwell. Like, that's fine. But like, if you go to England, you have Romeo Dobbs, who I'm assuming they're gonna be the number 1 guy, assuming how much money he got paid. I also have Kayshon Boutte. So like, I don't know, like maybe you put Boutte in that slot role, or even Dobbs in that slot role, but like, I don't know how I feel about Denzel Boston here. Like, I don't know, in a more stacked receiver room, or even just like a better receiver room where he's not gonna be the wide receiver 1, not getting the ball. Like, there's not drawn up, like every single play is like drawn up to him. Like, I get concerned sometimes with the separation, but I mean, he's like, you can't teach his physicals, but like, these type of guys sometimes don't really pan out in the NFL. Like, Mekhi Lemon's pan out more than Denzel Boston's. Obviously, you have like the couple anomalies in like, I don't know, DK Metcalf and all of them, but like, there's more Mekhi Lemons in the NFL that work out more like Jason, who aren't like elite at their respective athleticism and or don't have elite frame, but they do like all the little things so correctly, and they're fearless, and they have great hands, and they just find gaps in the zone. Like, that's what I like a lot more. But like, it's another weapon for Drake May, so I don't dislike it, but I don't know how well I feel about Denzel Boston here. And if the Seahawks land Avion Terrell here, man, I will be praise God. I mean, goddamn, would that be crazy? Jesus Christ, if the Seahawks land Avion Terrell, goddamn, am I gonna be scared? He's a feisty player. Imagine Avion Terrell and Witherspoon blitzing you. Son, you're cooked. That's all I gotta say about Avion Terrell. He's very aggressive. He's gonna be awesome for this team. I love Avion Terrell as a player. Despite the hamstring injury, I still haven't had him drop at all. I think he'll be fine by training camp. But that is it. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this mock draft. By far the biggest steal, Avion Terrell at pick 32. Goddamn, is that good? But I don't dislike this draft. There were some whiffs, like there always is for some of these guys. But I like to see these guys' thought process and read the descriptions. And I just like doing this just in general. So let me know what you guys think of this mock draft. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.